New reporting is raising questions about the scope and timeline of the Trump Organization's plans to build a massive skyscraper in Moscow. In reviewing nearly 300 documents related to the project, reporters at BuzzFeed News found, quote, despite Trump's claim that the development was never more than a passing notion, the effort to get the tower built was long-running, detail-oriented, and directly entwined with the ups and downs of his campaign. But business dealings with Russia were something the president strongly denied during the campaign. In a tweet written just days after winning the Republican nomination, he said, quote, for the record, I have zero investments in Russia, and even said this just days before the 2016 election.
So I don't know Putin, have no business whatsoever with Russia, have nothing to do with Russia.
But late last year, the president suggested the Moscow Tower project was an option discussed during the campaign.
We had a position to possibly do a deal to build a building of some kind in Moscow. I decided not to do it. The primary reason, there could have been other reasons, but the primary reason, it was very simple. I was focused on running for president.
Let's bring in Azeen Ghorayshi. She's an investigative reporter for BuzzFeed News who worked on this story. Thanks so much for joining us, Azeen. Walk us through the paper trail and how it appears to contradict statements made by the president and some of his close associates.
Yeah, so we have, Anthony Cormier and Jason Leopold here at BuzzFeed News have been reporting on Trump Tower Moscow for over a year now. And what we just did was release, like as you said, over 300 pages of documents showing everything from detailed edits being made to a letter of intent that both Trump signed and a Russian developer working for a company called IC Expert signed back in October of 2015. This is months after Trump had declared that he was running for president. We also have pages and pages and pages of texts and emails between Michael Cohen, Trump's lawyer at the time, and Felix Sater, his fixer, who was trying to arrange this deal in Russia, basically pushing through these negotiations, directly paralleling the presidential campaign. And what we found most interesting in releasing all these documents this week was sort of the direct connection between Felix Sater and Michael Cohen's negotiations on one side, and what President Trump was saying publicly about Vladimir Putin on the other, which is that he was very directly, seemingly trying to praise Putin, and we see Felix Sater and Michael Cohen directly referring back to that in an attempt to seal this deal.
Is there anything at all you can share about how BuzzFeed News came to obtain these documents? I think some people are going to wonder about that.
I can't comment on the Anthony and Jason sourcing. I can say that we know that these documents have formed, they are a focus of the special counsel's investigation into Trump and Russia in the last election. And we know, based on Michael Cohen's sentencing memo in late November, that actually showed it borne out as true, reporting that Anthony and Jason had been doing for a long time, showing that the deal was actually going through June of 2016, not January of 2016, as Michael Cohen testified to Congress. And we know now that that he was lying at that time.
And what stood out most while going through these documents?
Yeah, I think the very, as you said, that Trump's family, his close associates have for a long time been saying that this plan was basically just sort of, a fleeting notion. It was not a serious business deal. But we have many versions of a letter of intent that, we're getting closely scrutinized. We have lots of edits in there, and we've uploaded that for anyone to see. We see them talking to many developers. And then I think the clearest thing that also emerges from this is, like I said, we have a very clear connection between what Trump is saying on the campaign trail, where he's very openly praising Vladimir Putin. And then sometimes we have just hours later, Felix Sater emailing Michael Cohen saying, get us those tapes. We need to get those to Putin's people. And then, quote, it will help our cause. So you have a very direct line between sort of the presidential campaign on one end and a business deal that Trump's associates were trying to push through on the other behind the scenes.
I also want to ask you about a piece published by BuzzFeed News last month, which said that President Trump directed Michael Cohen to lie to Congress about the Moscow Tower project. As you know, Special Counsel Mueller's office issued a rare public statement disputing that report. Is there anything you can share about the reaction to that?
I mean, I think we were waiting this week to hear anything more about this. Michael Cohen was supposed to testify to Congress. I think we'll have to wait on that. But that's partially why we wanted to release these documents. Is we've been reporting on this for a long time. Our documents show very clearly that these discussions were extending at least until June of 2016. Contradicting Michael Cohen's original statements that they ended in January. We also have texts and emails where Cohen is explicitly referring to reporting back to Trump about how their discussions are going, and sometimes expressing displeasure that the deal is actually taking too long, and that he doesn't want to let Mr. T, as he calls him, down. So I think we'll have to see what comes out of Cohen's testimony, but we stand by our reporting, and that's about all I can comment on that.
All right, Azeen Ghorayshi, thanks very much for your time, Azeen.
Thank you.
The House Intelligence Committee voted Wednesday to turn over witness transcripts to Special Counsel Robert Mueller. The move was the panel's first act since Democratic Congressman Adam Schiff took over as chairman. The special counsel has already charged several Trump associates with lying to Congress. Schiff also announced Wednesday his committee will expand the scope of its probe, which will now also look into, quote, whether any foreign actor has sought to compromise or holds leverage, financial or otherwise, over Donald Trump, his family, his business, or his associates.